But this housing market slowdown is starting to have real consequences on the economy at large. Like, one of the biggest companies that's being impacted by this is Home Depot. In fact, the CEO of Home Depot this week issued a warning saying that the housing downturn is disproportionately impacting home improvement demand because homeowners are delaying big projects due to economic uncertainty and, let's face it, not having the money. Home Depot ended up missing Wall Street expectations yet again, the third consecutive quarter of missing the expectations. Needless to say, their stock price is being impacted by these misses negatively. Comparable sales at stores are sitting at flat numbers at only 0.2% up, which is essentially nothing. Customer transactions, though, are actually on the decline, down 1.4% as people are buying fewer items but spending a little bit more per visit. And that's the only thing that's keeping those numbers moving in a barely positive direction for Home Depot. Listen to this. Home Depot is actually kind of upset that there were no major natural disasters this summer. We didn't get slammed with a big hurricane here in Florida, or really anywhere for that matter, because they expected a surge in demand for materials like roofing materials, generators, plywood, but it never happened. And they cite the lack of major storms as one of the main reasons of reduced sales. So they're in the business now, they're admitting, of capitalizing on America's natural disasters. How wonderful is that? Now, there's nothing wrong with being there to supply things that people need when they need it, but to be upset that something like that didn't happen and that's why business isn't good is kind of crazy. That's like being a mortician and saying it's slow. Not enough people died this year, so yeah, hopefully next year's better. But more people are starting to wisen up with their finances, and a lot of homeowners are not taking on the big renovation projects like kitchen remodels and bathrooms or additions. Instead, they're opting to do smaller, cheaper tasks like improvements in landscaping or painting that can be done themselves and a lot cheaper to do. People are starting to wisen up and not wanting to take on massive debt or borrow against their home in a shaky economy. Even though a lot of people still are borrowing against their home, most likely to pay bills, not to do one of these renovations. And we're seeing historical levels of stagnation in real estate. Only 28 out of every 1,000 homes changed hands between January through September of this year, which is the lowest turnover rate since the early 1990s. And remember, the country was about 30% smaller population-wise in the 1990s. That just shows you how bad demand is right now. So this is all leading to Home Depot to lower their earnings expectations by 5% for fiscal 2025, and previously was only expected to be a 2% drop. And of course, Home Depot is just one of the many businesses and companies that's being affected by this housing downturn. Many others as well, like appliance companies that are not seeing the sales happen with that anymore, furniture companies. Those are things that people only need to buy every 10, 15, or 20 years. And once it's purchased, they don't need another one for a long time. And so many of that stuff was purchased during the pandemic. So if I was a home buyer in 2025 and moving into 2026, I would be really paying attention to your local market. What's happening with sales? Are the numbers increasing or decreasing? What's happening with inventory? Is that going up or declining? You know, what are you seeing happen with how long these homes are sitting on the market in your area? Are sellers being realistic? Are things selling? Are people still having their head in the clouds and not grounded in reality? And knowing all that stuff is going to help you determine the right type of offer to put together. You know, you're going to have to discuss it with your real estate agent and what they see with the local market, but do not trust everything that they say, because remember, their job is to sell you a home. They don't get paid unless they do. So that's why you need to do your own research and your own due diligence as well to make sure that your findings match up with what your real estate agent is telling you. And if they do, then that's a pretty good sign that you found somebody trustworthy with integrity and who is reliable to guide you through the process. But on the other hand, if your agent's telling you all the things that you want to hear to make things sound good, and that doesn't jive with what you're finding in the real world market conditions, run the other way, guys. Fire them, say, sorry, I'm going to find somebody else. Just don't ghost people. I don't think it's cool to ghost anybody over anything. You know, that happened to me a lot in real estate. And there's nothing worse than having clients and, you know, having people that you think you're going to be working with, and then they just kind of disappear and stop answering your calls or text messages. It's very cowardly. At least do the honorable thing and say, even lie if you have to, but let them down gently, you know? But I have a good feeling for a lot of people in 2026. I have a feeling a lot of you are going to be writing me emails and saying, thanks to you, Michael, I waited and I found a better deal than I could have found over the past 3 or 4 years. And it's all because of the things I learned from your channel. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to this channel. And if you don't want to wait for my next video to come out, check out this one on the screen right over here, and I'll see you in the next one.